And so, since he has such a slim chance, why are you taking on this project?
Maybe because I'm an idiot.
No.
I met Fred at a beekeeping convention in Louisville, Kentucky in January of 2024. He told me about a major hiking project he was planning to document on YouTube and asked if I would help him with video editing. 10 months later, I drove to Virginia to interview him at his home.
I'm quite aware that Charles's chances of getting off death row are slim, but if there's any hope, I think it's up to we the people. I mean, because ultimately we should hold the power and not the system. And so until people are aware of Charles's situation and the situation of hundreds of other inmates, they're going to continue to play God and kill innocent people.
Fred is referring to Charles Raby, who has been on death row in Houston for the last 30 years. Fred first heard about Charles's case through a friend who had begun a correspondence with him.
And we're turning in now. We are in the parking lot at Polunsky waiting for our designated time to have our visit with Charles. I had corresponded with Charles prior to going down to Texas, and I've read a lot about his case. There's a good bit online, and I've listened to the podcast that The Intercept did.
Charles' case was covered by The Intercept in a podcast called Murderville, Texas. His is one of several high-profile murder cases in Houston where the only evidence used to convict was a confession, which Charles says was coerced.
Mostly he talked about his case and how he recognizes that it's abundantly clear that he's innocent, but it doesn't matter to the courts. He's procedurally barred from bringing up the evidence that proves his innocence. I never imagined that Charles was innocent. I mean, he made those claims, but that's what criminals do. Why would anybody in their right mind admit to a crime that they didn't commit? Well, in truth, it happens all the time. And there's many, many reasons for them to do it. Beyond the false confession, there was no evidence, none, that he committed the crime. And this was a gruesome, ugly, bloody crime.
On January 1st of 2025, Fred is going to attempt what is called a calendar year Triple Crown. To complete a Triple Crown, one has to hike the entire Appalachian Trail, Continental Divide Trail, and Pacific Crest Trail. To complete a calendar year Triple Crown, it must be done within 365 days.
I came up with this idea to combine two goals in my life. I really enjoy hiking. And so I thought maybe I could pursue this crazy dream of mine to hike all three trails in 1 year, and at the same time spread what little I've discovered about the criminal justice system and the problems that Charles encountered with it, and maybe make a difference.
While he plans to record vlogs about hiking and criminal justice while on the trail, Fred is not your typical aspiring content creator.
But yeah, I have a lot of the small colonies. Those will be for nucleus colonies we'll sell.
He lives off-grid in a house that he built himself, and he has no interest in spinning his project into a source of income.
But early on, I took some classes from a guy who's from Norway, and he taught me some basic principles about cutting down trees, and I so appreciate the time I spent with him.
He reluctantly got his first smartphone just over a year ago after his children insisted that he get with the times. When he finishes his trek, he plans to return to his happily offline life.
I don't even know really what an influencer is. There are words associated with technology that still puzzle me and I can't get my head around. When my kids are talking about memes, I don't even understand that.
One thing that Fred does understand is how big of a challenge completing a calendar year Triple Crown is. It's incredibly ambitious, and he realizes that. He spent the better part of this year planning logistics and training for the hike.
If you're hiking the Appalachian Trail, you've got to deal with rain. When I did my thru-hike in 2019, I counted, and over the course of 166 days, it rained 55 of them.
I'm not sure anybody keeps records about the Triple Crown, and that, again, is the Pacific Crest Trail, the Continental Divide Trail, and the Appalachian Trail. There are estimates that over 500 people have done all three trails in their lifetime. But to complete all three trails within one single year, if you use the digits on your toes and your hands, I'm not sure that would cover it.
I'm here splitting wood. A lot of people don't realize that the Appalachian Trail or the Triple Crown or the PCT or whatever, it's not just something that you can say, bye everybody, and walk away from your life. There's a lot of things that you have to get done in preparation for a hike. And in my case, one of the tasks that I need to consider is that in my real life, I split wood for 3 different households. And so in my case, I need to split essentially 2 years worth, because I'll be gone for most of the winter in 2025, and then same thing, I have to have wood ready for 2026.
As someone who usually prefers to stay out of the spotlight, by posting his videos online, Fred will be opening himself up to criticism from skeptics and strangers. Aside from those who doubt his ability to complete the Triple Crown, there will be those who see him as being on the wrong side of a contentious issue.
Well, all I can say is I expect to get criticism, and people are going to look at me and say, who is this old man, this veterinarian that thinks he can go criticize the police or criticize prosecutors or criticize the criminal justice system? He's never even been in jail. He doesn't know what's going on. Well, I've got a lot of friends in law enforcement, and I've got relatives in law enforcement, and I highly respect them. I mean, they are public servants, and they are the face of the criminal justice system. But to deny that there are no problems, that's worse than criticizing, because we're not living in a fantasy. There are problems that are destroying families and destroying communities.
Fred told me that he plans to stay on the trail even if he starts falling behind the pace he needs to finish. I asked him what he would consider to be a success, even if he can't complete the Triple Crown.
Oh gosh, on a personal level, it would be great for me to complete all 3 trails in 2025. I know the likelihood of me doing it is fairly slim, but the chances of me doing all 3 trails in 1 year are better than they are for Charles to get out of prison and to be exonerated. So completing the trail would be great, but I would rather change a few minds about our criminal justice system, because that's the bigger issue here.
This one's called the cuckoo bird.